This right here is my, I think, early 2000s Gary Fisher Marlin. It's been a pretty good bike. It's been reliable, and I'm here to kind of restore it back to some of its former glory. I have a few goals here, a few limitations for this build. Number one is budget. It's really like a farm bike. It's mostly a utility vehicle. It's abused quite a lot. It sits outside in the winter sometimes, so I'm gonna keep it cheap just because I don't wanna have to spend money replacing parts. And with that same thing in mind, my other kind of primary limitation here is durability. I want a bike that will be very durable, easy to repair, and that informs the decisions I'm gonna make into how I repair this and the parts that I've bought to replace some of the old stuff here. We'll get into those parts later on, but first, I'm gonna start by taking the bike apart. I'm gonna start right here at the bottom bracket, take the cranks off, check out the bottom bracket itself, see how well it's spinning, see if I need to replace that. This is one rusty crank off. Unfortunately, it's a riveted crank, so I won't be able to replace it. I won't be able to put a narrow wide chainring on. I'll have to get whole new cranks for this, which will cost me, more money than I would like, but it is what it is. I'm not going one by on a riveted crank. You'll notice that the non-drive side crank here does not match the other side. This is black, this is steel. More evidence that this bike has been kind of consistently abused, that the crank on that side is entirely different. Now the bottom bracket actually feels quite smooth. I'm kind of shocked since I'm sure this has never been, cleaned or anything in like 20 years. But I have to remove it because the front derailleur here is actually mounted behind this bottom bracket, so it all has to come apart. Now with this bottom bracket type, drive side is reverse thread, non-drive side is normal thread, so I will be righty loosey right now. There's a fair amount of rust in there. The frame's dirty. I think I'm gonna take this chance to clean quite a bit, and I will re-grease and put the same bottom bracket back in. I think we're just gonna ignore that happening. Look at that. The chain has a quick link. This Altus front derailleur has really taken a lot of abuse over the years. Now it is one solid piece of metal that rattles, but I respect it. It lasts a long time. It's not as old as the bike. This has been replaced. This is probably the third or fourth derailleur this bike has, so it's actually in fairly good condition. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything to do with an 8-speed derailleur. Got no use for it, but maybe I'll find something to do with it. This bike does have mechanical disc brakes, and I did consider using this overhaul opportunity as a chance to put hydraulic on this bike, but I just think, considering this bike is doing no actual downhill mountain biking, it's just not worth it. The low maintenance of the mechanical disc brakes is worth the lack of braking ability. Now, I would not recommend cleaning your bike frame with brake cleaner, but that's exactly what I'm about to do. I'm not using it to get the dirt off, but there was a clear sticker on here at one point that has left a bunch of sticker residue behind. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's sticky and nasty that I'm gonna clean off with some brake cleaner. I will later come back with soap and clean the rest of this bike, but I'm not really going for a full restoration here, so I don't actually care that much if it's a bit dirty. Well, the bike has been cleaned, and by that I don't mean to imply that it is clean, but just that it's a lot less dirty than it was. Now I'm going to reinstall this bottom bracket because it's honestly smooth as butter. Doesn't make a sound, so I'm gonna grease the threads and put it right back where it came from. The next step in the process here is to put a new cassette on the wheel. I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope it actually fits. Ooh, that was tight. Old cassette off. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning, and then hopefully the new one goes on. So this is the cassette that I have gone with. It is a 10-speed 1146 cassette. For those who don't know, you can't fit any more than 10 speeds on an 8-speed free hub. So 10 speeds is the most I'll do. Now, there are larger 10-speed cassettes. There's larger range 10-speed cassettes. I could get an 1150 cassette, but I decided against that for the reasons I listed at the beginning here. First of all, durability. In my experience, when you get those huge gaps between teeth, shifting kind of starts to go weird. In addition, all the companies that are making those super wide range cassettes, it's generally not Shimano or SRAM. Like L2 makes them, which I've honestly heard good things about, but not really a risk I want to take. But on top of all that, this is a 26-inch wheel. And I think the derailleur size needed for a 50-tooth big ring here is just too large for me. I think the derailleur will be too close to sticks or rocks on the ground. So I decided 1146 is as big as I'll go. It's all the range I need. Again, I'm not doing anything extreme on this bike. Feels like 40 Newton meters to me. Not too bad, okay? That's an 1146 cassette. Let's see if we can fit this onto the bike. That's very shiny and nice. Now, I'm gonna be honest. The cranks and chainring that I ordered have not arrived yet. So I'm gonna leave the whole shifting drivetrain setup until the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Come back next time.